All right, Bozo.
Yes, sir.
Man, welcome back.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me back, bro.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's always dope working with you.
Most definitely. Likewise.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you always got some outspoken things to say.
Yeah, for sure. Honesty is my biggest attribute. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, you know, man, I thought, you know, it wouldn't be right if we didn't start off the interview, you know, with rest in peace to Stomper.
Oh, for sure. Thank you. Appreciate that, man.
You know, and, you know, the sad news, I was shocked. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was sick or he was going through anything.
Yeah, he kept it private for a very long time. Very prideful dude, you know what I'm saying? You know how it is. For a man to lose his health or start to lose his health or see his health deplete is very hard for the ego, you know, the male ego. So it's nothing really, you know what I mean, that you really want to talk about. And I don't blame him, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even tell us, to be honest with you. The homeboys from the neighborhood found out probably about like days from when it really got serious, you know, because we had to step in more or less, you know, because he was just in such bad shape, you know what I mean? But, you know, it's been like that. I think a lot of people relate, you know what I mean? COVID really didn't help, you know what I'm saying? Prior health conditions didn't help. So, yeah, I mean, we're in that time, you know what I'm saying? Where health is scarce, you know what I mean? And very important right now, you know?
It seems like that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I've been to a lot of funerals this year, more than I'd like. Around people that I'm around are also losing a lot of people due to you know, either COVID or other existing health issues that have been affected from the COVID, you know what I'm saying? It's like COVID's the sauce on a taco right now, you know, like it's really compounding on things that you could have dealt with before, and now it's making it not possible, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, real shit, man.
Yeah.
When I heard about Stomper, you know, I kind of went looking around the internet, and, you know, I
Yeah.
seen that he had some kind of condition or something, man. You know, when was the first time you guys met?
Shit, I met Stomper, I believe I was about 13 years old. Stomper has lived in my neighborhood his whole life. Grew up in the city of Pico Rivera, and one of the popular blocks in my hood. And I met him kind of like in a awkward kind of way. Like I was walking through the hood, like typical 13-year-old, walking through the hood looking for trouble. You know what I'm saying? High as a kite, and I see this little bald head. Not a little, because he's older than me. He was older than me at the time. And you know what it is? You know how it is? 13-year-old to a 16-year-old is like huge difference. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the time, you know, gangbanging was fucking religion. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, I see him on a BMX because he was a graffiti artist, you know, before. Me and my homeboy Prowler, one of my best friends also, we saw him riding through the hood on a BMX bike, and we just pushed up on him, you know, homie, where you from, homie, you know what I mean? And he basically told me, like, you know, like, hey, homie, like, I got family from the water, you know? So I was like, all right, cool, you know what I'm saying? Well, see you later, you know what I mean? We gave him some love, you know what I mean, based on his relation to the hood. And the next thing you know, like, I think maybe a couple months after that, like, I pulled up to the homies pad and he was jumped in, you know what I mean? So I was like, whoa, like, all right, cool. At first we didn't hit it off. I think because of the initial encounter, like, you know, kids, ego, you know what I'm saying? But Stomper was a really open-minded individual, fool. Like, Stomper was from Southeast, but he was never prejudiced or saw color lines and shit. So Stomper was really the first one that ever really brought me around like blacks and kicked it around blacks. You know what I'm saying? And this is when I was young, you know? Stomper was the first one to ever take me out the hood to spring break vacations and, hey, let's go to TJ, Havasu. You know what I'm saying? All that type of shit. Like, he used to see me do robberies, right? And then spend all the money in the hood. And to him, he'd be like, shit, we could take trips. You know what I mean? Where he got that from, I don't know. Maybe his mom, because mom's very intelligent, very smart lady. But yeah, fool, his mother bought him a Astro van when we were young. And we just traveled, fool, like everywhere really in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so we met young, man, and we were part of each other's life till the end, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much, you know?
So after you guys meet and, you know, you find out he's from the hood.
Yeah.
Do you guys start hanging out more? Is that
yes,
when
every day.
You guys start just...
Yeah, well, my neighborhood's small. We're a small gang. So, like, if we're 20 deep in the room, like, we're deep to us. You know what I'm saying? we're deep as fuck. So the brotherhood is really tight. You know what I mean? We're the type of neighborhood where we wake up together, go to sleep together, we eat together. You know what I mean? Like when we were young. You know, now that we're older, of course, we got kids and all that. I mean, no ladies, but as teenagers or even in our early 20s and all that shit, like we just never left each other's side. You know, it was a brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? To this day, it's like that. You know, aside from like family life and hustle and shit. But yeah, man, we're a real tight neighborhood, and he was a big part of the neighborhood. Like he was a big influence. He was he was one of the people that elevated us. You know what I'm saying? His wisdom and his intelligence and his ambition and his view of the world elevated us, you know what I'm saying? And it showed us a lot. Me, personally, he's the one that, like, if Criminal put me in the booth, Stomper was the one that brought me to Criminal. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it was one of the things, like, we were in the county jail together. He was fighting a lot of charges. He was fighting, like, life in prison and shit. I was fighting life in prison. And we were with some Crip, Little Bear from Insane. He was busted for murder too at the time. And that fool used to do beats on the bunk. You know, they got the 6-man cells in the LA County Jail back in the day. So it was like 4 homies and then 2 blacks. But like I said, Stomper wasn't prejudiced or nothing like that. So we were quick to make friends, you know what I'm saying, with everybody, you know what I mean? Well, the solid motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, Bear used to do beats on the bunk and Stomper used to write raps and start reciting them. And then he would make me freestyle, you know? So Stomper really saw something in me, and when he got out, he kept with that vision, you know? Like, he pursued the music. He ended up linking up with High Power and Capone and Criminal. And then I think he was probably touring with them for about a year. And then I got out from doing 4 years in prison for a robbery. And I mean, literally, I think probably I was out 48 hours, bro. And he put up to the pad and was like, look, I'm fucking with the homies. You know, let's go, you know? And after that, it was just pretty much over with. Like, music was a big part of our life, you know what I'm saying?
Were you already rapping at the time?
No, I was just fucking playing with it, just a fan of the music, you know? I had never wrote music until Stomper made me, you know?
I remember one time I ran into Stomper. It was like after a show.
Yeah, you ran into him a lot back in the days, huh?
Yeah. Because I used to open up for Capone quite a bit. You know, and they'd always be having parties.
Yeah, always.
Afterwards, hotel parties and everything, man. What do you think was like your favorite time? You know, what I'm saying, out partying with them.
Shit, my favorite time out partying with them. Fuck, there's so many times, man. I would probably have to say a time that we were in Rosarito. Yeah, he it was random. Like out of nowhere, he pulls up on me and he's like, "Hey, it's spring break. Like we gotta go Ensenada, Rosarito, you know." And I'm like, "All right, fuck it, let's roll." But we didn't have no money, you know. We didn't have no money. So he was like, "Well, you and the homeboy, you know what I mean, can make money fast, you know, robberies, right?" So he's like, "Why don't we just hit the road and, you know what I mean, see how much money we can make till we get to the destination?" And I was with it, like, "Fuck it, let's run it." So yeah, sure enough, we took off. By the time we got to TJ, I believe we had like 12,000, you know. Yeah, so fucking I break him off a stack. We both had our money and we're partying, bro, right? And back then it was like party crews, a lot of female party crews, you know, and dude party crews, and people would go out and promote their party crews and all that. So we meet this party crew of females, and sure enough, we take them back to the motel. The motel room wasn't big enough for all of us, you know. It was probably 2 beds, and we had like 15 people in there. He decides to go in the van with a female. All my homeboys get abroad, and I'm left alone, fool. Like, I got no female, you know what I mean? For some reason. But I was coked out, and I had money. So the guys next to me, which were other homies from Puente, Barrio Puente, we just clicked, you know? And the homie was like, let's go, let's fuck this shit. Let's go back to the clubs, you know? Your homies are in there fucking whatever they're doing, you know what I mean? Like, let's go back. So sure enough, bro, I go back, and then Stomper and the homeboys come looking for me. So now we're back in the club partying again. It's probably like 3 a.m. now, right? So fucking I end up taking a bathroom break, and I go downstairs and pop us a beer, and as I'm walking through, the bottom floor, there's a bar fight, right? And all the Mexican deputies or judiciales, whatever they call them, start coming in, and my dumb ass gets snatched up, fool. You know, they snatch me up. And I'm trying to talk to them in Spanish, like, "Hey, what I tell him? I tell him, oh no, I tell him, hey carnal, yo no estoy con ellos, you know? And the fucking paisa socks me in the mouth. He's like, boom, no soy tu pinche carnal, hijo tu puta madre. Pinche cholo vale verga, you know? So I'm like, so I fucking shut the fuck up. Like they pumped the fear of God in me, you feel what I'm saying? Because they're throwing us in cages, fool, you know? And my shit's leaking. And the homies are just watching me. And if my homies ain't doing nothing, then I'm really worried. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I'm fucked, you know what I mean? On Shit Creek. So I go, fool, right? I go and they start throwing us in holding tanks, bro, with a gang of motherfuckers in there. But there's females like here and there, you know, with the guys. And I'm thinking like, what the fuck? There's females in here? Sure enough, fool, like, I'm there maybe half an hour, bro. And this poor couple's in there, this square-ass dude with his old lady. And his lady's spooked, fool, with a bunch of criminals and they're drunks. And he's holding her close, right? And you know how perverts are, fool. Like, the fools next to her are trying to bang her pussy while he's laying. Yes, fool, man. Right? So I'm watching this shit and I'm like, man, these fools. But I'm looking around, I'm outnumbered, bro, you know? And the guy with the girl is like looking at me too, like, help me and shit or something, right? And the girl's scared shitless, fool. And this fucking paisa, fool, pulls out a big old, like, butcher knife, bro. And he's like, we're gonna fuck this bitch right now. Step away from your fucking old lady. He tells the guy, right? And the guy's like, nah, man, like what? She's like, hey, fool, like, I'll fucking slit your throat right now. Like, that pussy's mine, dog, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, man, I mean, they're like a pack of hyenas, fool, a gang of drunk-ass paisas, right? So out of nowhere, fool, my homeboy Stomper and another one of my homies come in and they're bringing me food because in Mexico, they don't feed you. So your people got to bring you food to eat lunch, dinner, breakfast. So he's bringing me a dinner in his eyes, you know? But that little moment that he came and knocked on the bar, well, not him, the deputy knocked on the bars and gave me a bag of food. The deputy saw more or less what was going on. And they were like, saquen esa pinche vieja, you know, like, get that bitch out of here. Like, they're about to bone this bitch, you know what I'm saying? So they snatch her, they take her out, and Stomper's like, hey, fool, like, you're in jail, fool, you know, like, they're talking about you got to go see the judge. And I'm like, see the judge? And he's like, yeah, fool, like, they're talking about 4 days from now, you're going to go down to TJ, and you're going to see the judge in TJ. He's like, so I need money to rent the room. We need money to keep renting the room to stay here with you. So I'm like, fuck, dog. Like, what do you mean? He's like, just give me what you got, fool, right? So I'm like, damn. So I'm pulling out money, fool, and I'm like, here, fool. Like, don't fucking leave me, dog, you know? So sure enough, bro, they write it out. The homies write it out 2 days, fool. And they're bringing me food, and Stomper's coming and talking to me. On the third day, dog, that I'm supposed to go to court, they're supposed to drive me to TJ, which is on the Monday. He just gave them all the money that we had. He gave it to the deputies, and it was like, I need my homeboy out of here. You know what I mean? So I get back. They let me out. I'm like, man, thank God, cause dog, right there, like the bathroom was a hole in the floor, fool. Like if this is the floor, there's a hole right there, fool, deep as shit, and everybody just pissing shit in there. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking horrible, fool. Like you name it, fool. Like it's going down in that bitch, right? So I get out, bro, and I'm like, man, like this shit is fucking crazy. But now we're broke, fool. We're broke again, and we gotta get home.
Oh shit.
So he's like, look, fool, like we're in the same predicament when we came. Now we're headed home. You know what I mean? Like, what's up? I'm like, run it. You know what I mean? So to make a long story short, we make it home, bro. You know? Yeah. And he's like, damn, fool, like I thought you were gone, you know what I mean? I'm like, what you mean? I thought they were. He's like, they were trying to get you for robbery. You know, robbery in Mexico like carries a gang of time. And I was like, robbing who? He was like, I don't fucking know, fool, but like, we're home, fool. Like we're leaving to Havasu tomorrow. And I'm like, but we're broke. He's like, no, we're not. He's like, it's a long road between here and Havasu, fool. We gonna be all right, you know what I mean? So I was like, fuck it, fool, let's roll. You know what I'm saying? And it was just. You know, we just had a lot of fun, dog. Like a lot of memories, and we were all together. Like most of my clique. You know what I'm saying? Just living life, bro, and having a good time. And I think, yeah, man, that's probably one of the most fun times I've had with him, aside from doing shows. You know, like the shows was pretty crazy. Cause I got out of prison and went straight to Tucson to do like a radio show, like a summer jam, summer with them fools. You know what I mean? And Capone was real cool back then. Well, I mean, I'm sure he's still cool, whatever. Besides our bullshit. But he was like, that's your homeboy? Fuck it, tell him to get on stage, you know? Take off your shirt, fool, you just got out of prison, like, you look good. Like, peel your shit off, you know what I mean? And I'm just standing there, like, trying to figure out what to do, and fucking Stomps is like, just fucking wave your hands, throw something, you know? Like, show rhythm, fool. And I'm like, fuck, all right. And that shit was just like really eye-opening, you know what I'm saying? Like it was a whole new experience, you know what I mean? And honestly, like music saved my life to this point, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I got him to thank for that shit. Cause honestly, I'm gonna be real with you, fool. Like back then, the thug shit was so religious, fool. Like I would never pursue music, you know? It's not like now, like you can get Fruit Loops or Auto Tunes and just record at your house. Like fuck no, like back then you needed to have money to be in the studio, you know what I'm saying? You needed to know people, and fools that made beats were like rare and everything, fool. Everything back then was a real task, you know what I'm saying? So he made it fucking easy for me, dog. And then, yeah, that's what it is, man. I'm grateful for that relationship we had, you know what I'm saying? For sure.
Yeah, man, that's what's up, man. You guys have some good times.
Yeah, for sure.
Good memories.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of good memories, man.
Well, man, you know, it's a sad situation, man. You know, condolences to
thank you, man.
You know, his friends and his family.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, recently there's been, you know, a little controversy about Mexicans using the N-word.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
And I know you've had some strong opinions about that.
Yeah.
So what do you think about all that?
Really, my opinion is more professional, you know. Now, I mean, there's layers to it, but I just think that like let's be real, you know, like hip hop is how should I say it, man? It's African Americans like baby, you feel me? Like if they own anything, it's hip hop, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just the culture of it, where it's come to at this point, the big enterprise that it is, the lives that it's changed, you know what I mean? The economy that it's created for them, you know what I'm saying? And I think that the homies, or not only the homies, but anybody in general, you know, trying to come into the game by exploiting their culture is not gonna get too far, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's like giving away the culture, you know what I'm saying? It's like them giving anybody the green light to exploit their culture to make a living out of it, you know what I'm saying? When they have paved the way, when they've established this game that they're so protective of, you know what I'm saying? So I see that, and I look at the homies with all this talent, and I'm thinking like, man, you guys are fucking, as it is, it's hard for us to get in the game, period. Now you're just creating another roadblock for yourself, thinking that it's okay to just follow whatever trends are going on the streets right now, whatever you think sounds cool, you know what I mean? Instead of trying to be authentic and be as creative as possible that you can purely as who you are, you know what I mean? I know a lot of homies have the excuse, oh, we grew up with blacks. Yes, you know, a lot of people have, you know what I'm saying? They grew up with us too, but you don't see them talking like us or trying to dress like us or trying to take our culture, you know what I'm saying? So I see both sides of it, you know what I mean? I also see the side where it's like, I don't think it's fair to black men and women for other cultures to take something that's so, how do you say it, man? So precious to them and has created so much pain and so many struggles just for exploitation and fun, you know what I mean? Because I take it offensive when people that ain't from like Southern California or California call themselves essays, but they're really Bloods or Crips, and you know what I mean? It's like, nah, my boy, like I'm an essay, you know what I mean? Like just because you got Mexican blood doesn't make you an essay, you know what I mean? Just because your genetic construction is with my same DNA doesn't make you an essay. It's a certain person that carries that name and that title, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I guess it just comes with my maturity, dog. Like I think there's lines, you know? I believe in boundaries, you know what I'm saying? I don't think you can just cross and run over every boundary, dog. I think respect is the biggest key to anything, you know? So that's basically my stance on it, you know what I mean? I think it's disrespectful, you feel me?
I hear you. You know, I think when we were younger, things were different, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Only Crip walked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, like...
no, for sure. Most definitely.
Certain things were more for certain cultures, you know what I'm saying? If it was a Crip, you know, a blood walk, you know what I'm saying? You know, the Cholo.
Yeah, we did
dance,
the two-step, you know, elbows up, yeah.
You know, elbows up. And today's younger generation, they don't really follow that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, what it is that because they follow entertainment. They don't follow street code, you know, they don't follow They don't follow the rules that are there, dog. They just follow social media. They follow entertainment, and they worship rappers instead of the goons and the OGs. You feel what I'm saying? They worship materialistic things instead of virtues. You know what I mean? And I get it, dog. I get it. It's very easy to be captivated by that, but you gotta understand that all that bullshit and like trends and fucking materialistic things don't create a person. You know what I mean? What creates a person is their virtues, their honor, and the things that they believe in outside of materialistic shit. You know what I mean? The materialistic shit comes and goes, fool, you know? I mean, me personally, myself, I've never been a materialistic person, you know? I value a lot of things more than fucking money, you know what I mean?
I hear you, man. You brought up essays.
Yeah.
Where did essay come from?
Honestly, where it came from, like the original foundation of it, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? But I've always known since I was a kid that, so when you say essay in Spanish, it's pronouncing the word S. La letra S. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the S in the alphabet for Spanish, right? But the S signifies Southerner. You know what I mean? It signifies Southerner, and where it originated from, I'm not sure, but I know that for the longest it's been. And listen, I'm not saying that. You know, I ran across this question before, and people thought I was just saying like, oh, if homies ain't from Southern California, they can't be S. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're not following our program and our structure, you feel what I'm saying, then you're not an essay. That's just like me calling myself cuz all day. Like, what's up, cuz? I don't follow the structure of the Crips, so I shouldn't be putting that shit out there. You know what I mean? Or calling myself that. You know what I'm saying? So from what I know, it originated in Southern California, and from what I know, it originated on the streets. You know what I mean? In Southern California. You know?
Okay, and you know you have Peso.
Yeah, of course.
Who calls himself the hardest essay.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess in Texas, I've been told that their meaning of it just means Mexican.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think a lot of people kind of have different views of what it means to them.
Yeah, well, to speak on Texas is tricky, you know what I mean? Like, it's a different environment, you feel what I'm saying? And listen, like, as far as him, you know, I don't take it as disrespect when he says it, you know? When he did say it, he came out with it, I made a point to express the true definition of it, just so there's no misunderstandings, you know what I mean? Just so I know that I put it out there and made it clear, like, look, this is the true definition of it. If old boy and where he's from use it in a different way, it's all good, fuck it, that's them. But where I'm from, this is what it means, you feel what I'm saying? And bloods ain't essays. And from what I understand, he's a blood, you feel what I'm saying? So, but like I said, it's no disrespect towards him. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just, you know, the thing is, like right now, fool, because of social media, everybody is so sensitive, dog. Like you can't contradict anybody or have your own opinion about anything because, oh, he's beefing. Like, oh, old boy said this and disagree. Nah, bro, like, I'm just speaking. Like, if you have a platform to speak what you want, so do I. You know what I'm saying? And I choose to speak up on my shit, on my culture and what affects it and anything that is taken from my culture. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I have to. You know what I mean? There's a gang of homies behind me that don't have the voice or the platform that I have. And since I'm here, like, I got to use it and I got to do, you know what I mean? I got to speak truthfully, you know what I'm saying? But in Texas, it's just way different, dog. Honestly, I don't even like to speak up on Texas because I'm clueless on what the fuck they do and what they believe in. But I do know that the culture's rich over there. I do know that they represent the Mexican flag or whatever flag, Hispanic flag they wave proudly over there. I do know that there's a lot of unity between blacks and browns over there. I do know there's a lot of love and their communities are tight. And that shit is great. You feel what I mean? Good for them. I think that over here in LA, our individuality is what causes conflict. But I think that our individuality is necessary to keep our cultures pure, you know what I'm saying? If we could find a different way to go about it instead of beefing and murdering each other, it would be great. But, you know, the gangbanging culture is a part of LA just like the Dodgers are, my boy. Like, that's just, there is no LA without gangbanging, you know what I mean? That's just the way it is. Why? It's beyond me, but I probably wouldn't change it for a motherfucking thing, you know?
Yeah, look, the gangbanging culture is real deep in LA.
Yes.
California, you know. But
yeah, California period, yeah.
More so in LA, it's real. It's real deep. You know, I interview a lot of dudes out of Chicago, and their gang culture over there is really deep too.
Yes, sir.
You know, probably like, you know, L.A. and Chicago. If you're talking about America, you know, these are the two cities.
Cities that really gangbang, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's, you know, their gangs go back, you know, years, you know.
Fuck yeah, generations, dog.
Yeah, you know, just like over here, you know what I'm saying? I think, you know, some Mexican gangs go at least to the 20s or 30s.
Yeah, to the 20s, yeah, for sure.
You know?
20s and 30s, yeah, some of the oldest gangs. My neighborhood goes as far as the 50s, you know? So, shit, there was gangs before us, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so it's, for sure, man, it's, you know, it's a tradition, you know what I mean? Will it ever change? I don't know. I think there's a lot of progress being made, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people are getting more woke to the potential that we have together, you know what I'm saying? Instead of beefing so much, you know what I mean? There's a lot of profit to make, a lot of money to be made, you know? A lot of lives to save, you know what I mean? A lot of people to inspire, you know what I mean? With the stripes we have. So, yeah, I think it's evolving, you know, just like everything else, you know? Just like the NBA. Now you got superstars teaming up. Before they all beefed, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's just evolution, you know what I mean? It's mandatory, you know?
Yeah, things change, you know? Things, yeah, like you said, evolution. Things evolve. Unfortunately, not too long ago, King Von was killed.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, I seen you kind of chimed in with some opinions about it and everything. You know, one thing I noticed is that, you know, kind of like, it was kind of like a similarity between Tupac, you know?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
The way that, you know, King Von hit the dude and, you know, then he got killed. I mean, it didn't quite happen like that with Tupac, but, you know, Tupac hit the dude, and then later on that night, you know, he was killed, and, you know, King Von's autopsy leaked, you know, just like Tupac's. You know, so there's a few little similarities about all that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, what'd you think about everything?
I think that it's just not the right people around them, you know what I mean? You know, these dudes are making it with tremendous odds against them, you know what I mean? And the position that they take is like so rare, fool. Like you're talking about real dudes, you know? Real dudes with real stripes and real reputations, you know what I'm saying? And they're so real, dog, that they're so real that without them even understand, they never make the transition. And they never even allow people in their circle to help them make the transition. Because all they know is the hood shit, you know what I mean? All they know is this gangster shit. And I believe that certain people are very in love with being gangsters, you know what I mean? Like, I believe that to some people, it's their spirit, you know what I mean? And I believe that King Von was one of them, dog. And I think that, unfortunately, he didn't have the right people around him, the right influence, you know? Nobody was really telling him, like, bro, we can't move this way. Bro, you need to stop, you know what I mean? Like, you're too important, you know what I mean? Like, let us catch them fades, whatever. Like, let us do this shit. But then again, we go back to the gangbanging shit, you know what I mean? Tradition, like writers don't want nobody to pick their fights for them. Writers don't want to be protected. They want to protect themselves, you know what I'm saying? Fools that are with the business. So, dude was young, and I blame mostly that, you know, his lack of maturity. He hadn't really grown to the point where he was just like, you know what? You know what I mean? I got bigger things to worry about than fools trying to make me look bad, you know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate, dog, but with not experiencing maturity, you lose a lot, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't let yourself go through that phase in your life where you're maturing and learning and getting wisdom, like you come up short, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Me and Bo Dill, I don't know if you know who Bo Dill is, but he's like a older dude out of Chicago that, you know, he has a lot of love in the streets. And we were talking about it, you know, that, you know, sometimes the dude, you know, they'll be out the hood and they'll get famous, they'll get money, and it's just not that easy to just turn off who you've been.
No, it's not, bro.
For 10, 15, 20 years.
Yup.
It's not easy to change who you are. Like, that come with time and with wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Like, it took me a long time. If I was that young with all that money and all this power, the shit that we was doing back then at 26, I was running a mob at 26. So if you gave me more money, I'm gonna figure out how to get more money still running this mob and doing what the fuck we doing. You feel like you're on top of the world. You know what I'm saying? You young, you rich, You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. It's hard to turn it off. You know, that come with time. And who's to say? We all learn at different speeds and at different times. You know what I'm saying? It takes certain situations to make some people change their life. It might be, you know, something tragic happen that make you change yours, or it might be jail that make you change yours, or it may just be the maturity of wanting to live for your children, or to make your family happy that make you want to change. Like it have to be something that warrants that change. You know what I'm saying? Something that we deem important enough to want to change.
You know?
Absolutely. I just went through that. I just had that moment of clarity myself, you know. Obviously, my homeboy Stomper died, and then I just lost another little homie like this week also, you know. It's been less than a week since my little homie died. And, you know, your initial instinct, like you know how some people say, oh, I have a drug problem, I have a drinking problem. Well, a lot of us have a street problem, you know. We don't know how to, we're addicted to the streets and the lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? And it's very easy to relapse, you know what I mean? You can be a very successful dude. You can have a lot of opportunities in front of you. You can have a lot of potential. But the minute something real happens, you don't even notice it, dog. And you transition right back into the old you. You know what I mean? Out of I think it's just instinct, bro. You know what I mean? Like, as a matter of fact, today when I called you randomly to do this interview, is because I wanted to get the fuck out the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, due to the incidents that have been happening in my neighborhood lately, we've been there a lot. You know what I mean? And I'm one of them dudes that thinks that I have to show face, you know, because I carry so much influence and I have the ability to share so much love. You know what I mean? So when people die, like I feel like if I'm around, the people in mourning feel stronger. You know what I mean? I feel like I have the ability to uplift them and feel protected. But with that position comes a cost, my boy. You know what I mean? You're putting yourself out there and you're making yourself vulnerable to a lot of other shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, with maturity, thank God, like, I sat back for a minute and I just, you know, I pressed pause on myself and I told myself, like, you know what, like, this isn't what's kept you out so long, you know what I mean? This behavior isn't what's made you successful, you know what I mean? And what's brought to fruit all these valuable things you have now, your family, your career, your music, all this shit, you know what I mean? It's time to press pause and go back to your program, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I think that, you know, it's about poise, you know? This shit comes with a lot of poise. It's like any other career and any other goal. When you put yourself out there like that and you become a presence, you know what I mean? You got to understand that you're magnifying the hate towards yourself and you're magnifying the losses towards yourself. Just like you magnify the wins and the success, you know what I mean? Your failures sadly are going to magnify 10 times even more. You know what I mean? So, you know, you got to come to grasp with that and understand that, man. But it's very hard, you know what I mean? It's hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's hard for a lot of rappers, you know, especially when they're young, you know, and they get money.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like...
It's another high, man.
Yeah,
it's a high, and when you're young, full of testosterone, bro, and full of ego, like, you're on top of the mountain, bro, you know what I mean? And you're looking down at everybody, but you fail to realize there is no mountain. You're on level playing field, you know what I mean? If you're not moving right, you know what I'm saying? And even worse, like, everybody knows exactly who you are and where you're from now, you know what I mean? So it's no question, you know? It's no hitting you up. It's just aim and shoot. You know what I mean? The advantages are just gone, bro, you know what I mean? So, you know, I think it's like, I think that they have this thing for rookies now in the NBA where they have like a training boot camp on how to survive outside the NBA. You know, invest money. They need to do that shit for, you know, young rappers that really come up, that hit that shit. They need to have mentors that really step in and pull them to the side and be like, yo, this is what you're going to do. This is what you need to do. And you need to figure it out fast. You know what I mean? Because a lot of us don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Most of us don't have it, you know? Got to figure it out yourself.
You mentioned being a target.
Yeah.
I interviewed a dude out of Memphis called Big Boogie.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, you know, pretty much like if you're a rapper, like, and then you blow up, like you pretty much got to move out of your city.
Once you're a rapper, you forever a target. Forever. You can't do nothing in the open no more. You can't be you in private. Well, you can't be you in public. You gotta live your life in private now.
unless you go to another city.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're just like,
You're done.
you know.
Yeah, you're done. Either law enforcement, either the temptation of women, either the temptation of making illegal money, either the temptation of fucking being out there, you know what I'm saying, and making yourself vulnerable to the enemies is just like, it's too big, dog. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta leave. It comes with the territory. You gotta bounce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not safe for you once
No.
everybody knows your face, knows where you're from, knows everything. I mean,
Yeah, but you become a trophy.
You know?
Every little gunner wants that stripe. Every little gunner wants that notch. Everybody wants to say, like, I'm the one that smoked old boy. You know what I mean? Like, and they're willing to sacrifice everything for that when they're young. You know what I mean? They're willing to sacrifice life in prison. They're willing to sacrifice their whole life for it. You know?
Yeah, it's real shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Real shit. Recently, I interviewed Little Weirdo. And we were talking about like the wave of up and coming Mexican artists, and you know how they have different sounds, and you know they're making a lot of noise. You know, they're doing a lot of little homies are doing some good numbers. You know, we were like, you know, when's somebody gonna make it to like that MTV Breakfast Club interview type of level? How long do you think it's gonna take before a homie makes it to like the MTV level or the TV level?
I don't know. You can't call it. You know what I mean? That because that's like A-list celebrities type shit. You know what I mean? Or B-list getting brung out on, getting helped out by A-list celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Who knows? I can't call that. But at least us being in the mix now, like us being around mainstream artists, like that's what you mean by that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's coming soon. Like I can see it coming already. Like there's too many people with talent. You know what I mean? Like there's too many people like who do their thing out here. So it's like too many. You can't ignore us. You just can't ignore us. We're doing our thing. The labels know it. I know for a fact the labels know it too. The labels know there's about to be a whole wave of Mexican artists. I'm pretty sure they all on the lookout for the next. You know what I mean? Young Mexican hit maker to make it mainstream.
What do you think about all that?
I think that, well, I mean, so we've had artists in our culture that have made it, right? But in order for them to make it, they've had to detach themselves from the culture, you know what I'm saying? Like for one, you know, Baby Bash, I believe was one of the first ones. He's from up north, but he's from the streets of you know what I mean, California. He ran around with thugs, you know what I'm saying? He probably wasn't a gangbanger, but he was one of us, you know what I'm saying? But the only way that he really made it was like he had to leave California and go to Texas and affiliate himself with a black label, you know what I'm saying? And then we had who did we have? 6ix9ine, you know what I mean? I mean, that's the latest one, but he literally gave up our whole culture, you know what I'm saying? He only used it when it was for promotional reasons, you know what I'm saying? For exploitation. And he blew up. So will another homie make it to that platform? I mean, I don't know, dog. I don't know if America wants us to win. You know what I mean? I don't know if America wants to see a brown kid up there that's from the hood that doesn't sell out his culture to blow up, you know? I mean, I think that eventually, because, you know, like the numbers of the brown population is growing constantly, you know what I mean? So yeah, maybe 10, 20 years from now, like it'll come and I hear the little homies like, you know, excited and yeah, the new wave is coming, and it's like, bro, like you gotta understand, like we got homies that did numbers for and kept it pure, you know what I'm saying? We still have homies right now presently that did numbers and sell out shows no matter where they go, and they're independently doing it on their own without any of those big media platforms, you know what I mean? Like King Lil G still touring and selling out everywhere, you know what I mean? Like that dude is an enterprise on his own, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, have homies made it? I think we've made it, you know what I mean? I think we've made it. I think, like I mentioned King Lil G right now, right? I think that he did it and he kept it pure, you know what I'm saying? Like he never sold out, he never exploited himself, and he just keeps making great music for and pushing the culture forward, you know what I'm saying? Will we make it to like where hip hop is embracing us and calling us hip hop? I don't know, man. I don't know. I really can't call it. You know what I'm saying? I think if you throw the, I don't know, man. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been there and I've seen so much. I've seen the homies win. You know. I've seen homies win and make a lot of money and get a lot of fame, but you know, Def Jam ain't never signed them. You know what I mean? Or you know what I'm saying? One of them, Rock Nation ain't signed none of them. You know what I mean? I mean, I think we just but that goes back to like, I don't know, like how important is it to be accepted by those platforms? Like, do we really need it? I don't think we need it. I mean, me personally, if I could just sew up our fan base, I'd be straight. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really give a fuck about all that other shit. You know what I mean? I think that as it is, hip hop's already getting diluted anyways. You know, as it is, I don't believe hip hop is the hip hop presently. I don't believe is the hip hop that I fell in love with. You feel what I'm saying? And that I grew up to. Like right now, it's too emotional, dog. And just like everything else, whether you call it government or you call it, I don't know, has found a way to use hip hop as a tool too. You know what I mean? Against our own, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I love hip hop, but then at this point, I hate hip hop. You know what I mean? Because I see what they've done to it. You know what I mean? I see what the media has done to it. I see what politics and I see what the powers that be behind everything have done to it. You know, they've exploited the shit out of it and they use it as a tool to bring us further down and make us more ignorant. You know what I mean?
I hear you, man.
You know what I'm saying? But shout out to the homies, man. Like, they're on their shit. They're full of hope. You know what I mean? They're full of ambition, and it's dope, man. Keep going. You know what I mean? Just don't say that you were doing it for us and you're acting like somebody else. You know what I mean? To get there. You know what I'm saying? The minute you lose your roots, bro, like, you ain't doing it for us. You know what I'm saying? Like 6ix9ine tried to say, oh, I'm the only Mexican that... Nah, bro. You did not put on for our people, bro. You put on for a whole nother demographic. You put on for a whole nother cause, and it's all good. Like, keep that success, fool, you know what I mean? I'm going to stick to my roots, you know, and stay humble, you know what I'm saying?
You mentioned King Little G.
Yeah.
And, you know, I interviewed him, you know, a long time ago, man. Like when he first came out, like when Letter to Dr. Dre came out. And, you know, one of the things that he mentioned, you know, he was like, you know, I want to like everybody to fuck with him, you know, and I kind of, he wanted everybody to fuck with him.
I want motherfuckers everywhere to give me props. I don't just want our people to say he's a dope motherfucker, he's ill. I want bitches everywhere. I want black girls, Asian girls, I want everybody. I want my shit to be bumping in Hollywood clubs like, hell yeah, that's that little G shit, you know what I'm saying? I want people to give me props on a wider scale. So pretty much I was just trying to tell Dre, like, what the industry signed a Mexican rapper, not him. I just used his name so people could be familiar with it and so they could really say, oh, you know, we're familiar with Dre, because there's no way to really point at the industry. You gotta use a name. So I think that that Dre was the best name, especially because we live down the street from Compton. You know what I'm saying? Black people and us, we always been, you know, interracial right there, and we always been at peace with them. You know, it's a love-hate thing. You know what I mean? But we've been at peace with them, and I feel like if we could be at the lowrider scene with black people, why the fuck can't we be in the game with black people the same way? You know what I mean?
And, you know, I kind of feel like, you know, he kind of crossed a lot of, you know, barriers.
For sure he did. Yeah.
You know, and that, you know, even what he does today is like, you know, he expanded everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was kind of just dope to see his progression and everything from
sure.
day one. You know, recently, the cop that killed George Floyd was found guilty of all 3 counts. And I interviewed Trouble Kid. I don't know if you know.
No, I know
Trouble
Kid.
Kid.
I seen him on Land Beast, yeah.
He was talking. He gave me a story about one time. You know, he's running from the cops. You know, they caught him. They threw him on the ground. You know, pushed his face into the pavement.
I was actually in IE, and I got locked up over there in San Bernardino. Yeah, fucking, they had handcuffed me, but it was my fault. They had handcuffed me, and right when they turned, I started running and shit. I started running with the handcuffs on. That shit was stupid as fuck. I started running and shit, but that motherfucker caught up to me and tackled me and shit, and like my face, like I couldn't like put my hands like that, you know. So my face went like on the pavement, like how do you say it, like
Scraped?
Yeah, it scraped the pavement hella hard, and I was all like bloody and shit. But I think that was the worst. That was the worst time.
What do you do? What do you do when you
Like
when
he
you
was
guys
putting
fell?
he was putting like my hands all the way over here and shit in the fucking in the ground and shit, but
Oh, he's pushing your face into the
yeah,
ground.
that shit was fucking hurting like a motherfucker.
What do you think was like one of your like worst times dealing with the police?
With the police, fuck, man, I've had so much, man. I say this and I say this like with just like being sincere, you know what I'm saying? You know, we're the bad guys, dog, you feel me? And we're labeled the bad guys throughout any type of outlet, any media outlet and all that shit, right? And the police are paid to govern that badness, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta understand, fool, like their job is to capture the abusers, you know what I'm saying? But with anything else, fool, like anything else or any environment you're in, you see so much abuse, you start to become the abuser yourself, you know what I'm saying? You become what you're around, you know what I mean? Like they say, if you're around 12 idiots, you're the 13th one, you know what I'm saying? And you gotta understand, like these people, whether they like to admit it or not, fool, like not only do they become us, but they become worse than us because now they have the power of the law behind them. You know what I mean? So I say that to say this, like, I remember I was a kid, man, and I had ran from this one cop like multiple times, you know, and got away. I'm not gonna say his name because it's not even necessary, but finally one day he caught me, you know what I mean? And he caught me on the streets and fucked me up, you know what I mean? Beat my ass, threw me in the back of the squad car, and he took my shoes and he took my socks and he made me walk barefoot like 3 o'clock in the morning from fucking far, dog. I mean, like far as shit. Where I thought I was gonna catch pneumonia. You feel what I'm saying? Like walking through wet grass, walking through dirt, walking through like a lot of shit, you know what I mean? And you know, mentally, like it did something to me, you feel me? Mentally, it's almost like it created a opening for abuse and pain, you know what I mean? Like as a kid, I told myself, okay, this is what I have to look forward to and this is what I have to adapt to. I think the worst thing that a cop has ever done to me was as a kid make me squat and cough, you know what I'm saying? Make me strip down naked and make me squat and cough, dog, you know what I mean? That's usually the process when you get busted as a kid. And I know like, you know, that's part of the, you know what I mean? But that day, that the first time that ever happened, you know, I dropped like, how should I say it, man? I allowed myself to be treated like, you know, like a criminal and an animal, you know what I mean? And from that day, like I was, you know, I've been bit by the canine unit. I've had both my legs dislocated by the canine unit before. I've been beat to shit. I've been caged in the hole and sprayed with an empty fucking bear can of mace. I've been, fuck, man. You name it, it's happened to me. But now that I look back at it, that was the pivotal moment, you know? When as a kid, I understood that I was going to be treated like an animal by the law from here on in, you know what I'm saying?
I hear you, man. You know, when I was a kid, it was like we didn't really take it personal when the cops
No, not at all.
acted a fool.
Not at all, not at all.
Because it was like we kind of felt like that's what it was. You know, when the cops would harass us, I mean, pull us over, search our car without a warrant. You know, it was like that was just, I don't know, man. You know, we didn't really look at it like now today.
Well, to tell you another story, I think I was 5 years old. And we were at a family party, my mom, my dad, all my uncles, everything. I have a lot of family in the military, my uncles. Well, one of my uncles was dressed up as an Indian chief, but he was wearing his army jacket on in the city of Downey. Back then, Downey was like very racist, you know, prejudiced. Like it was still like a purely white community, you know what I'm saying? They got the call, we were making too much noise. They came, and when they saw my uncle wearing the Native American mask with the U.S. Army jacket, they got offended by it, you know what I mean? So they pulled my uncle, like, come here, man. They told him, take off that fucking mask or take off the jacket. You got to pick which one, you know what I'm saying? And my uncle was like, what you mean? I served this country, you know what I mean? Like, me and all my brothers served this country. Like, this is my jacket, you know what I mean? and this is my indigenous roots. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, oh, is that right? So they beat him, they beat my mom, and they beat 2 of my other uncles on the curb in front of all of us kids. You know what I mean? And they arrested them, took them in, and yeah. So like you say, yeah, like now this is the thing, dog. Like now, listen, if you're a victim of injustice by the law, it's a trend. Like it's almost like overnight celebrity. You know what I mean? And I think that now, like it's almost like you remember when that dude had that show Punked.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted to get punked. Now it's like everybody wants to witness police brutality. So now they instigate it even more. You know what I'm trying to say? Now they're like trying to walk around thinking like, yeah, like fuck me up so I can put you on blast. And it's like, bro, like you gotta understand, man. Any civilization, any culture that we believe in, there's gonna be a law. There's gonna be the strong arm of the law. And that law needs to be upheld no matter what. Because without that law, there's gonna be complete chaos, bro. And I think that, listen, I think that it's bullshit for us to like go to war with each other, beat the shit out of each other, hate each other, be prejudiced, and then expect the law to be different. Like, what the fuck are we showing them all day? You know what I mean? And what the fuck are we putting them through all day? You know what I mean? I got homeboys that had shootout with the law. So when they draw down on me, it's expected. You know what I'm saying? I don't take it as offense. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I get it. You know, like George Floyd, the situation was definitely fucked up and it was unjustified. I get that part. You know what I mean? I get it. I think his situation is very unique. And I think that it was fucked up the way they did him, you know? And I think that's even worse is that other cops ain't willing to hold each other accountable. I don't give a fuck where I'm from. I don't give a fuck. If I see one of my homies doing some bullshit, I'm gonna jump in, dog. And I'm gonna protect the individual that's being fucking mistreated, you know what I mean? And that's what I believe in, you know what I mean? It's like people are forgetting to be human, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us that need to be human are forgetting to be human, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, we're a product, everybody's a product of their environment, dog. And if the streets are violent, guess what? The cops are gonna be even more violent.
When you mentioned Baby Bash, going to Texas, you know, man, you reminded me of SPM.
Yeah, for sure.
And how him and SPM were close.
Yeah.
And, you know, I thought I'd get your take on this. I always trip out on how people support him so much, even though he's been convicted of, I believe he had a baby with like a 13-year-old girl. And, you know, they always make excuses for him and everything. And it just kind of trips me out, you know, that so many people can still support this dude.
I'm not one of them, you know. I never have been. I think that, listen, dog, like, we can all find excuses, right, for every bad deed we've ever done. You feel what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, fool, I go back to this, right? It's like, okay, so I'll give you the perfect example, right? So me and you jump in a car and I tell you, hey, I want you to drive me to go do a robbery. You know what I mean? Okay. So I go do the robbery. We both get caught. And then after the fact we get caught, you're feeling like, fuck, why am I here? I didn't even do the robbery. He jumped out. He did this and that. Nah, bro, like, let's hold each other accountable. Like, you agreed to go do this shit. You knew exactly what I was doing. And when shit hit the fan, now you want to make excuses like, nah, bro, like, whether it was intentional or not, he chose to go somewhere and engage in certain activity that might come with consequences. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, whether it's unfair or not, whatever, with his unfortunate situation, like, the way they try to make excuses, like he didn't know she was this age, he was doing this and this and that. But then again, who the fuck goes to a strip club and just fucks a random chick for money? You know what I mean? Right? I mean,
how, 13.
Yeah. How do you not know she's 13?
How do you not know she's 13?
Yeah.
How do you not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
of course. So
me.
It's like, you know, we got to hold ourselves accountable, like, no matter what. Look, dog, it takes grit to hold yourself accountable no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all do shit that might go south. and the dimensions of how south it might go are unlimited, fool. It's like a drunk driver, bro. He gets in the car, oh, I just had a couple of shots. I could drive home. And then on the way home, he kills a little girl with her mom in the car. Okay, so what's the excuse then? There is no excuse. You knew there was the minute you started drinking and jumped behind the wheel of this car, you knew the possibility was there. You feel what I'm saying? And that's just that, bro. Like, you got to hold yourself accountable, you know what I mean? Maybe it didn't take that many drinks to make this happen, whatever, but it did happen, fool. And at the end of the day, you got to write it out, bro. You got to write it out, you know what I mean? You got to write it out and hold yourself accountable, you know what I mean? To make excuses is bullshit, you know what I mean? I understand if he was never at the club and he never touched her and he was being framed, then yeah, fuck it. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, like, he was there and he was doing his shit. And he was dealt a bad hand and fuck it, it's over.
Yeah, you know, I think he's getting out
Yeah, he's getting out soon, yeah.
soon, and
Yeah, he's getting out soon.
there's a lot of people looking forward to it.
Yeah,
You know, it's gonna be kind of weird to see a bunch of people at his shows.
Well, Texas will be behind him. I think that Texas is behind him. I think that LA, man, not so much. I mean, California, not so much. I don't know. But then again, shit, his time's come and gone, I think. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I feel like, you know, he's going to have that loyal fan base and shit, but, I mean, these days, anybody has a fucking fan base. Look at Lil Nas X, you know, like, weird ass shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Man, I don't. What'd you think when you seen the video of him?
honestly, I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen
No,
it?
I haven't seen it because my daughter saw it and she described it to me. And I just saw it as you know, some more goofy shit going on in this world that demands attention. And I don't really care to feed into any goofy shit no more. You know what I mean? Like, I'm at that point where I've seen so much, dog, that I'm just like, I'm not impressed. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really impressed by nothing too much no more. Like, I'm inspired by righteous acts, you know what I mean? So I didn't even give that fool the time of day. I wasn't surprised. I wasn't shocked at all, you know what I mean? I know the way these labels work and the way these campaigns work and all these, you know what I mean? You know, I see through the smoke and mirrors, you know what I mean? And he's trying to say that it's something else and, you know, you're judging me already, so I'm going to feed into what you're judging me. All right, well, keep taking that path, bro, and see where it leads you to, you know? Keep walking that path and see where you end up at, you know what I mean? Like, two negatives don't make a positive, bro, you feel me? Like, at some point, you got to go against the grain. You got to find that you got to be brave, man, you know what I'm saying? And not feed into the bullshit, you know what I mean? If you feed into any bullshit and you react based on emotion, then you got no poise and you know, you're just a pawn, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I always, like, wonder if it's just a show he's doing.
It is a show, for sure.
You know, like...
For sure. He knows that there's a big gay community, you know what I mean? He knows that there's a gay media, you know what I'm saying? He knows that he has a big face right now with that whole gay movement, and he wanted to feed off of that empowerment, and I'm sure he's going to make a lot of money. Because you got to understand, gays in this world are very powerful, you know what I mean? They're very successful. They have a lot of money, a lot of resources, and I'm sure they'll stand behind them, and that's, hey, you know, that's great for them, man, you know? I mean, it's just another demographic that's trying to stick together. It's just another form of prejudice, you know what I mean? The gays want to separate themselves from us that are straight, you know what I mean? It's just another form of prejudice. They just don't put it out there like that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's like, would I be allowed to be in a rap video, fool, and just be fucking treating women like dogs, literally in leashes, making them fucking do stupid acts of stupidity, and then call myself a real man? How would the world look at me then? You know what I'm saying? Like, who would get behind me then? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm not allowed, if I'm expected to carry myself a certain way, then other people should be held to that same standard. But I guess, you know, like everything else, you know what I mean? There's manipulation behind it, and there's different powers that be, you know?
You don't think that he's held to any type of standard or anything because he's gay?
No, I think that there's a certain like rule for gays that they can be as belligerent and as outspoken as they want, and it's just like a part of who they are. You know what I mean? I think that they get away with a lot of shit because it's almost like comical. You know what I mean? It's almost funny entertainment to see a gay person act out a character. You know what I mean? I know gay people that carry themselves with respect and a lot of dignity and a lot of pride and don't want nothing to do with that kind of shit neither, you know what I mean? Like, I have gays in my family that that I've known forever and don't. You know what I mean? Shit, my gay uncle raised me when I was a little boy. And I never once seen him do no goofy ass shit, you know what I mean? And we knew he was gay, and we all respected him, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's no excuse for stupidity, dog. I mean, I think, you know what I'm saying?
You know, what I've noticed lately is rappers catching a lot of gun charges. It seems like more than usual, maybe. You know, I know Da Baby,
The baby.
got caught
NBA young boy.
allegedly. NBA young boy,
Rich the Kid.
Rich the Kid, Fabio Foreign.
Yeah.
Just a couple.
Well, these
days or
rappers
so
suffer
ago.
from PTSD, my boy. You know, seeing your peers get gunned down and victimized constantly is going to create a certain type of paranoia, certain type of anxiety, certain type of, you know, post-traumatic stress. You know what I mean? Disorder. So, I think that, like I said before, a lot of these rappers with a lot of this money ain't spending it the right way. Like you got to invest in your mental health, fool, when you're at that level. You know what I'm saying? Like a president isn't just a president. There's a lot of people behind him to keep his mental health straight. You know what I mean? That's what a coach is there for with players. You know what I'm saying? So not to let the emotions take over the game. You know what I mean? You need to implement the right things. You know what I mean? In front of you when you're in that position, because if not, paranoia, man, the fear of death is a motherfucker, dog. You feel me? And if you're constantly seeing rappers get smoked, and you're a rapper yourself, what do you think? You know what I mean?
It
You know what I'm
does
saying?
seem
Look
like
at Nipsey.
rappers.
I think Nipsey's death fucked up a lot of people, dog. I think it struck a nerve in a lot of people deeply that they don't even understand till now. I'll speak for myself, even me. You know what I mean? Like now I watch even how generous I am. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole Nipsey situation showed me that there's no love no matter how great you are. You know what I mean? Like that dude could have fucking walked on water. You know what I'm saying? He was just amazing, a great dude. You know what I mean? And that didn't stop nothing bad from happening to him. You know what I'm saying? People loved him. I'm sure his homies had his back. I'm sure his homies were constantly protecting him. But that wasn't enough. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of trauma. You know what I mean, in the rap game. You know, and that's not addressed. You know what I'm saying?
It seems like it. You know, it's getting worse and worse for rappers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Last year, 4 rappers were killed.
Yeah.
You know, Mo3, King Von, Duck, Pop Smoke,
Pop Smoke.
all in 1 year. You know,
Yeah,
and
all
these
in
were all, you know, either popping or on their
They're
way.
on their way. Fuck yeah.
to be
they're on their way.
popping.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure, you know, like you said, man, it made a lot of people real cautious.
Yeah, for sure. Hell yeah.
You know, I think it also comes from, you know, growing up too.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
for
what I'm saying?
sure.
When, you know,
Yeah.
you're also in a lot of drama. You know, I
Yeah.
think you mentioned that, you know, you see
Yeah,
your,
for sure.
your friends get killed.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be without a gun.
Yeah, that's always you know, it's like I said, look, people with wealth and money, they go through some shit. What do? They go through counseling, they get people behind them to help them navigate through the stress, you know, navigate through the damages. Us, what do? We take a shot, smoke a joint, and pick up a gun. That's our formula to dealing with our trauma. You feel what I'm saying? And that's textbook for any thug on the streets. One of the homies gets smoked, first thing you do is, I gotta strap up. Next thing you do is, I need to be out there, you know what I'm saying? I need to be out there and start fucking getting ready for what comes next, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, there's no rule book to this shit, you know what I mean? There's no HR department for this gangster shit, you know what I mean? So, you know, you navigate as best as you can, and hopefully you're lucky enough to have people around you that care and have the wisdom to help you out. And if you don't, then you're on your own, you know?
You caught a case before, right?
Yeah.
I believe you went to jail for.
Yeah, for sure.
So what was your thought process? Is that what you were going through at that time?
At the time, yes, most definitely. Yeah, hell yeah.
And how much time did you end up doing for that?
10 years, 2 months.
For the guns?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that the first time?
No, that was probably like my 4th term. My 4th time I had been in prison. I've been going to prison since I was 18 years old. So that was my 4th time, yeah.
Okay. And was the first time?
Guns.
Guns, okay.
Yeah, always strapped. 2 guns on me that time. But that was my first offense, and then this last time I used it in the commission of a crime. So that boosted up all the time, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, so it got me the extended sentences that it got me.
How much time did they give you the first time?
The first time I did, like, I believe it was 3 years. 3 years, I did about two and a half off of that. The second time was a simple drug possession. I did a 16 with half, which is like 11 months or something. The third time I went to prison for robberies, armed robberies. They gave me 5 years. I came home. I was out about 6-7 months, and then I went back for my last term, which was robberies and assault with a deadly weapon. So that was fucking, that one carried a life sentence, and I did 10 years, 2 months off of that after, like, you know, motions and laws changing and all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? I had to go through.
Okay. You do your first term, and when you're in there, you know, and you're about to get out, you know, what's that feeling like?
Oh man, there's no feeling like it. Getting out from prison, there's no like fucking, there is no other feeling like it. Like, I've witnessed a lot of shit in my life, but there's nothing like walking out of prison. It's an overwhelming feeling, man. Like, it's almost like a drug, bro. Like, you can't even fucking sleep. Like, you've been craving all these meals, and you get out, you don't even want to fucking eat. You just want to fucking party and fucking fuck. You know what I mean? And fucking turn up, you know, and I'll eat later, and I'll see my family later. Like, I just want to fucking turn up and fuck bitches, and you know what I mean? And be back on the block, you feel me? Like, it's a crazy feeling, dog. It's an adrenaline rush like nothing else. I don't even think most people sleep the night before they come home. I think I slept like 2 hours maybe every time I paroled. You know what I mean? Be up all fucking night and not out for a little cat nap, and then you're fucking up before everybody. You know, making sure you're shaved up, brush your shit, all your shit looks clean, like at the door waiting for that bitch to come, you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous, dog. Freedom is a motherfucker, homie. Like, there's nothing like losing your freedom. Me and my homeboy were just having that conversation right now on the way over here, right? And I was telling him we were having a conversation about, like, you know, navigating through the time presently that we're in, you know? And I told him, like, boy, like, you know, if we get busted, like, we're gonna be going through it. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna be like, and he was laughing. He was like, you ain't lying. And I was like, I'm gonna be accusing my bitch of cheating the first hour I'm in jail. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be fucking, you know what I mean? Like, she gonna have to be like, oh boy, like, all the homies gonna have to come through. Like, fuck that, get me out. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's just, you know, freedom is great, dog. You know, it's amazing. You know what I mean? And when you've lost it for a big amount of time, you know what I mean? It just affects you different, you know? I wake up so appreciative every day, bro. Like, for real. Like, you don't even understand. I could turn the most negative thing into something positive because I know I got my freedom. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, freedom allows you to navigate through shit. When you don't have your freedom, fool, there is no options. Without freedom, no options. You know what I mean? Zero options. When you got your freedom, you got options. You got. There's a lot of possibility. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, there's no feeling like that, man. You know, do I want to feel it again? Nah, I'm cool. You know what I mean? I'll stay out. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's a overwhelming feeling for sure. It's a beautiful feeling, yeah. Getting your freedom back.
I seen in an interview you did where you talked about where you actually had to catch like an extra year for something that happened. What can you? It was in an interview, but can you run me through?
So I was I was young. It was the first time I had ever been to prison, and I had to watch American Me and Blood In Blood Out way too many fucking times, and I wanted to fucking stab somebody in prison bad, you know. And fucking I had a kitchen job at the time, you know, wiping tables, you know what I mean. And the homies had one of the homies from Hazard had got jumped by Northerners, you know? And the yard was on lockdown. And we so happened to have a Northerner on our work crew with us. You know what I mean? So I had a homeboy from my area, not from my gang, but from the area that I'm from, Southeast Los Angeles. Homie Spooky from Barrio Norwalk. He was my dog, you know? He was one of my dogs. We were both young. I don't even think neither one of us was 20 years old yet. We were like 19 or some shit, you know? And me being who I am, fucking instigating shit, you know? Like, we need to get this motherfucker. We're gonna get him, perrito. Like, dick, like, come on. I had 10 days to go home. Literally, 10 days to go home. But, yeah, just, you know, my overwhelming fucking, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, to be honest with you. But anyways, yeah, I volunteered to grab a knife out the kitchen, and I assaulted him with the knife. When they let us out to go back to our cell blocks, you know what I mean? And I got caught, and I ended up doing about 14 months extra off of that shit. You know what's crazy about that? I get to the hole, dog, and the guy that's running the hole, that has the hole out of the homies, is one of my worst enemies, you know? He's older than me, but he like, we're not personal enemies, but his gang is my enemy gang. So I get to the hole and he's like, what the fuck happened, you know? Shoot the paperwork, the incident, to tell you exactly what happened, right? So he reads through it, he's going through it, and he notices that my date was coming up in like 5 days, you know, to go home. But now I'm not going nowhere, right? So he's like, my boy, you're about to go home. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? And I'm like, fuck this fool. Like, we need to get him, dog. You know what I mean? Like, they fucking did that to the homie. He's like, bro, like, we're going to take care of it no matter what. Like, why the fuck did you have to? You know what I mean? Like, he's like, hey, but you're here, homie. Like, and we appreciate you. Fucking welcome to the family. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to be in the hole a long time. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't going nowhere. So yeah, fucking, it's crazy how, you're attacking one person for being an enemy, and then you go over here and you're now bonding with another enemy. So like, you know, like, what the fuck? Pick your poison. Like, what, you know what I mean? I should just took my ass home, but do I regret it? No, I don't regret it, because, you know, that shit revealed a lot of people and a lot of things I needed to find out at the time, a lot of lessons I needed to learn, you know?
What was the hole like for you?
The hole to me was, it was.
So can you describe it for everybody? For people who
emotionally,
who've never been
emotionally
through it?
to me, the hole was a validation of how tough I was, you know, first and foremost, you know what I mean? It showed me that I learned something about myself, that I could survive in any environment, you know what I mean? It was almost like, I don't want to insult nobody, but I see it almost like being a POW camp, you know what I'm saying? Like prisoners of war, you know what I mean? In the whole, it's all the dudes that were really willing to go that extra length to keep the culture and keep our cause alive, you know what I'm saying? It was lonely for sure. It was a mental battle. A lot of killers in the hole, obviously. A lot of mentally ill motherfuckers that just don't give a shit, you know what I mean? A lot of people that are battling with a lot of demons. So you do see a lot of suffering in the hole, you know what I mean? And as a human being, if you're well put together and you're blessed enough to have all your senses, like, it kind of breaks your heart to see human beings like at that stage in life, you know what I'm saying, where they just don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? When I was in the hole, I seen a dude bite his own tongue off, you know? When I was in the hole, he bit his own tongue off. Yeah, he believed that he was so mentally ill that he believed that his tongue was what was leading him to sin, you know? So he bit his own tongue off, you know? Yeah, man, it was very, it was something that I shouldn't have gone through, you know what I mean? Because like I said, everything that you go through makes you almost like, it makes you almost accepting to more pain, you know what I'm saying? It allows you to become more of an animal. It allows you to open the doors to more demons to come in, you know what I'm saying? And that just made me worse when I came home. Like, I came home a different person, you know what I mean? I was more heartless. I was more numb to a lot of my emotions, you know? I didn't allow myself to get attached to anything. I really didn't give a fuck about nothing, dog, you know what I mean? I went from fucking, fuck, dog, talking to myself in the hole to being free on the streets, and I just didn't give a shit at that point, you know what I mean?
So you feel like the hole changed you?
The hole did change me for sure. It made me believe that I can deal with anything, and I can overcome any obstacle that the prison system had to give me, you know? Yeah, so yeah, it made me worse for sure.
For people who've never been there, you know, what's like a day like in the hole?
A day like when you first get processed, you come in. If there's an incident where you were in the middle of violence, you usually go into a cage right off the top that's like a phone booth. So you go into a cage, you get stripped down naked, you start to get processed. At that point, you're going into a cell with an individual that you don't know. You don't know why he's there. You don't know what he did. My cellie, he was involved in an incident that I was involved in. So after I stabbed my guy, he stabbed another guy with a fishing knife. A fishing knife is the one with the hook. He cut a guy open like from fucking rib to rib, like multiple times. He was fighting attempted murder. That's my cellie, man. But anyways, yeah, so now you go into the cell, and it's one of the things is like, so who's who? You know what I mean? Are you gonna have to stab your cellie because he's no good, or are you gonna be able to live with him and then go from there? So once you figure that out, whether you and your cellie are gonna kill each other, then you start to program. And then the whole, for us as Southerners, we maintain a strict program. You know what I mean? We're up at 5 in the morning, even though you're not going nowhere. We make sure we're up at 5 in the morning. By 6 a.m., we already did our first workout. We're eating breakfast right after that, and then it's just constant torture of the mind, more or less. Yeah.
So it's like everybody in different cells, right?
Yes, 2 people at a time. For the extremely violent foods, there's single man cells. You know what I mean?
Is there anything in the cells?
No, not anything at all. Nothing at all. You're
So
not allowed.
You don't get a book. You don't get
books,
paper.
So they do come with books. There's a librarian that comes through with books, but it's a limited amount of books. You know what I'm saying? So if you've been in the hole for a year, you read every book on the shelf in about 3 months. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, if you don't have nobody from the outside sending you books or writing you, it is what it is. You know, that's where I read the Bible so many times, was in the hole. That's what allowed me to read the Bible a couple times, because I had so much time and I just, wanted to do something, you know what I mean? But yeah, in the hole, there's no TVs, no radios, there's no contact visits. You get your first visit, I believe, after the first year you've been there. So even a visit through the window, you got to be there at least a year in the hole to get one. Yeah, and people are still getting attacked and stabbed in the hole. Like, it's not uncommon. When I was in the hole, when I was in prison the first time, the COs used to crack cells randomly just to see us fight, They would accidentally, supposedly crack a Southerner door. And our rule is, if the door opens up, you take off on whoever's out there, So they'll crack a black's door and then a homie door and let them go at it and then see who wins and fucking have fun, you know what I mean? It was human cockfights, you know what I'm saying?
So you seen that?
Yeah, I seen that shit a gang of times. Yeah, a lot of times. It was supposedly accidental. But, it is what it is. I believe that in Corcoran, they ended up convicting a lot of COs for placing bets on fights like that where fools were killing each other and shit like that.
Yeah, that's where I was just about to go with it. I remember seeing some news about that they were like, they'd be betting.
Yeah, they'd be betting.
They would, put dudes
that
together.
Was on Corcoran. Yeah, I've been to Corcoran too. Yeah, so like I was saying, and that's funny because I ended up in that hole another time. I ended up in old Corcoran in the hole, and I got transferred there from doing some bullshit in some prison. And the holes in prison are almost like time capsules, you know what I mean? Every hole has its history, you know what I'm saying? And obviously it's a bloody history, you know what I'm saying? And I know now they let out all the homies from doing undetermined shoe programs, Before there was a lot of undetermined shoe programs going on where individuals didn't have dates to ever get out, you know what I mean? By far, when I went to the Corcoran hole, that was like the scariest hole I had ever been to. It was by far the scariest place I had ever been to because there was men there that had been there for like over 20 years, at the time, you know what I mean? There was very important people in prison in there, and you're walking on eggshells. Like in that hole, there is no blind spots, you know what I mean? Like every cell is screened, every floor above you is screened. So like, let's say you're on the bottom floor, you see the guys on top walking. There is no privacy, you know what I'm saying? So for us as Southerners, you can't even get into a fight with your cellie in privacy, you know what I mean? It's like you have to conduct yourself a certain way at all times, you know what I mean? And it was very challenging and very like mind-boggling to be there, you know what I'm saying? And then to hear all the stories that were going on before when they were having the bets on inmates fighting each other and killing each other on the tier, you know what I'm saying? Or even on the rec yard, you know what I mean? For sure, it was crazy, man. It was very interesting to say the least, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you mentioned Northerners, and it reminded me of a while back, there was like this talk about a Southerner and a Northerner rapping together or doing songs together. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
I think that, man, like at this point, dog, it's like, I'm not surprised, you know what I mean? I know that a lot of the politics in prison have changed, A lot of the wars have died out, a lot of the beefs have died out, so I'm not shocked by it, you know what I mean? Because it's like, It's almost like you trying to express your high school experience with another class of high school, like 10 years after you. You feel what I'm saying? Two different scenarios, two different things going on. So to me, my class, I should say, to use an example, we didn't fuck with them at all. You know what I mean? It was war. You know what I'm saying? I was in Susanville, last year at 3 yard, where it was beef on site. You know. So me personally, I wouldn't work with them just based on my history. You know what I mean? But I don't disrespect them neither. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get on songs dissing them or, you know, instigating shit between us and them. Like there's a mutual respect. But like I said before, I believe that there's lines that you don't cross. You know what I mean? I believe. You know what I'm saying? But if the homie's doing now, that's on him. And he has to live with the consequence of judgment of fools like me. You know what I mean? That just are going to separate ourselves from them. You know what I mean? So to each his own. I mean, you know, with every move comes consequence. You got to be able to deal with those consequences. You know what I mean?
Do you see it happening anytime soon?
No, I don't. I don't see it happening. I think it's too controversial. You know, I think it's just too much history behind the beefs and you know, I mean, I don't know. Tradition is tradition, bro. You feel me?
Yeah, I was surprised to even hear it as a topic.
For sure. For sure.
You know,
I was surprised to hear it. Well, it's because you were around for the super Sureño generation of rap. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, I mean, I remember when it first
dissing
cracked
Northerners
off.
was like,
Yeah,
it was almost like fucking religious. You know what I mean? Like, we used to diss them and talk shit about. I don't think I ever did. I don't know. Probably I did. Who knows? Who fucking knows? I don't know. I did so much shit back in the day. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, I hear you for sure. I get shocked to this day. I hear a lot of shit, man. Like, you know, I'm still trapped in the past in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? I try to keep myself grounded. You know what I mean? And not be so judgmental with the present time because it's hard. It's very hard to navigate like your traditional ways and the way we were brought up to the new wave that's coming. But I mean, I guess that's just the way it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that I will say is this, dog. With every generation or every era that comes in raps, right? If you're a student of the game, you will always see that trends come and then the gangsta shit just like boom, skyrockets. One guy will come that's super with the business and just run through it like a hurricane, right? And then it'll die out because that influence creates too much violence and it has too much influence on the streets. So therefore hip hop calms it down, trend, boom, and you'll go for another while, maybe even 10 years and then boom, another one. You know what I mean? The perfect example I could give you is like Ice Cube at first, bam. Then came Tupac, bam. Then came 50 Cent, bam. You know what I'm saying? Then so forth. Like every era is gonna have their guy, you know what I mean? And you know, the gangster shit will always prevail. America loves gangsters, fool. It's part of who we are, you know what I mean? And we love that outlaw shit, you know what I mean?
It's real shit. I remember even I think Dr. Dre said that, you know, that you know, it's just one of those things, man.
It's
you
one
know,
of those things.
Even from like, you know, the Cowboys to the Mafia.
Yes, sir.
You know, now
Billy the Kid was a hero, bro. Billy
Yeah.
the Kid was a fucking hero. You know what I mean? Babyface Nelson was a hero, you know what I mean? All them fools, like, they went against the grain, dog, and they were fucking heroes to this day. Look at how far we are into our history. We're still talking about Capone, like, Al Capone, like, fuck. Who the fuck talks bad about that guy? Nobody to this day. Hero, you know what I mean? So, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I live by that, you know what I'm saying? I believe in that, you know?
I hear that, man. Yeah, definitely, man. Man, this was dope interview, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I appreciate you, and I see your constant work, man, and I commend you for that.
Thank you,
Keep
man.
doing what you're doing, man. We need you, you know? We need these platforms, you know what I'm saying? We need the authentic shit to keep coming, you know?
Yeah, thank you, man. I see you too, man.
Thank you, bro.
You know, man, I wish you success. You know, congratulations
Yeah,
on your song with King Little G.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, Sad Boy Loco too.
Yeah, for sure. That's dropping soon.
You
I'm about
know?
to drop that soon. Street God Volume 2, I'm about to drop it. King Goon is on the stores right now. Shit, I'm gonna drop fucking project after project this year. You know what I mean? I'm just fucking. I need it. I need the work. You know?
Yeah.
That shit keeps me out of trouble, for sure.
I hear that. Definitely, man. Well, man.
Thank you, bro.
It was a pleasure,
Appreciate
bro.
you. Yeah,
For sure.
likewise.